Hi! Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Story Reckless. For any of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And for those of you that have been with us the whole time, welcome back. Thanks for joining again. Yes, hi, Wheezies Breezies. Yeah, I am Nathan. I will be your DM this evening. I will be kind of the storyteller here. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm going to pass it over to our players so they can give their own intros.
You want to go first, Olive?
Okay, sure. Yeah, my name's Olive. I use she and they pronouns, and I'm playing Lovelace, professional stick in the mud.
My name is...
Centaur, stick in the mud.
Centaur,
Right.
yes.
My name is Claire. My pronouns are they, them, and I am playing Kadam, a professional midwife.
Excellent. Cool. Well, with that, let us do an intro here as we kick off our next story arc. So, let me switch over to some mood music. Here we go. All right. Summer is in full swing on the Sword Coast. The days are long and the heat is inescapable. We see a moonless sky stretching out over a rocky coastline. Rising from a crag is a massive collection of towers that almost resemble a multi-tiered cake covered in candles. Below the towering walls is a small gravel road that winds up to the gates. And clustered on either side of the road is a collection of tents encircling dwindling campfires. We can hear the faint sound of a stringed instrument drifting through the thick air, accompanied by the thrum of crickets. As we get closer to the tents, we can see 3 humanoid figures and a small horse running up the road towards the walls. And as we get closer still, we see our heroes here, our protagonists,
We might be heroes at this point, embarrassing as it is.
We see this collection of individuals running up the road, one of which is a tall, lanky human with coarse hair over the arms, thick mat of hair on top, and has a relatively nice, if not weathered and dirty at this point, vest on with what looks to be some sort of pocket watch chain coming out. They have a short sword at their side and some sort of wooden handle to, like, probably a firearm of some sort on the other. And he looks worried and out of breath as he is running up this gravel road. Trailing shortly behind him, trying to keep up with all his might, is a small gnome, very drastically different in size compared to the rest. He has a small little pickaxe and is currently trying to sip down on this silver flask as he's running with his bag jingling and jangling on his back. And in front of the two of them, we have the other individuals leading the way up this road. Why don't we start with Kadam?
Sure. You see a dark-skinned half-elf with dreadlocks about shoulder height, shoulder length, running and not happy about it up the road, wearing a kind of gray-purple tunic, very sensible trousers, with a shawl, probably not actually curled around, but like trailing off one shoulder at this point. Shield on their back, as well as a pack and a silver, no, not silver, it's just steel sickle at their hip.
And directly in front of them, this, what appeared to be a small horse, we can see Lovelace, if you want to describe yourself.
Yeah, so Lovelace is a centaur. She has kind of like a tan skin, dark brown hair, dark like kind of fur on the equine part of her body. She has a bandana around her neck, and also she's recently picked up these goggles that are also hanging there, and just like really elaborately braided hair. And she's also carrying a small armory of like pikes and like stabby things. a little bit more shiny than they were a week ago after picking up stuff from um, the armory up in the mountains. And she doesn't look super happy about what's behind her or what's in front of her.
Yeah. And as you continue pushing down the gravel road and come over that small little rise, you can see now the walls are less than a quarter mile away, rapidly approaching. And you see those collection of lights at the base of the walls, which is maybe a bit unexpected, as normally you've seen the front of Candlekeep be open with no one camping out there. As you're running up, though, Manfred, you hear him say, "Oh, thank God, there it is. We must hurry." And continues pushing forward. What do the two of you do as you're running down the road towards the walls?
Will they let us in the middle of the night?
No, normally they keep the doors closed in the evenings. What? As the little gnome is trying to keep up. I thought we were going to be safe here. Well, perhaps we might be able to call out and they may let us in.
If it's an emergency, surely they won't let people get slaughtered outside their front door.
Those lights on their doorstep say differently. Seems like other folks might have had the same thought as us.
As you were having this conversation running down the road, Lovelace, you notice the crickets just stop. And far behind you, in the distance, you can hear this. So, what are you doing as you have the walls there and this small collection of tents?
How far away are the tents?
At this point, you're getting probably within 300 feet of the walls, and the tents are 200 feet or so away, some a little further. And as you're getting closer, what you can see, there's on either side of the road, kind of close to Candlekeep, there appears to be these ruins of probably what used to be Candlekeep, just kind of like little low-lying walls and foundations, and the tents are nestled within. To the left, you can see 6 tents clustered together, and you hear that nice, soft music kind of cutting through the air as you are running up. And you can see there are 6 individuals clustered around this really dim campfire. They're all kind of flamboyantly dressed, and the one individual who's playing has this, what looks to be it's a hurdy-gurdy. It's like a winded, stringed instrument that they're playing. And he appears to be a elven man, kind of heavy set, who is just sitting there playing, and the other individuals are softly singing along. To the right, you see a much more elaborate circular tent set up, surrounded by 3 other smaller tents, and you see 3 individuals just vigilantly standing guard with spears out around their dimly lit fire. And then beyond them, you can see the gates of Candlekeep with some torches up on the walls.
I think as soon as we're in like possible earshot, Lovelace is just gonna like bellow, "Gnolls! Gnolls are on their way!"
Okay. You bellow that out as you are coming out of the darkness and into the light, and you see all these individuals kind of start up and look towards you. The musical sound kind of comes to an abrupt as this large elven man kind of sets his hurdy-gurdy down and stands up looking towards you with a furrow on his brow. He calls hurdy-gurdy stops. He calls out towards you. What's the meaning of this? What are you talking about?
Have you no ears, fool? Listen.
He kind of stands up and looks off into the dark as you are running up. You can see off to the right the circular tent. One of the flaps furls open, and you see this very slender human woman. Her hair is like just a mass of curls cascading down her back, and she's wearing these really nice silk robes. As she immediately like gestures to the individuals who have the spears, who start stacking up, and you see her in the tent, like scooping up belongings. Kadam?
Hello, Candlekeep! Oh, shout.
Okay. As the four of you start approaching the gates, you kind of skid to a halt there in the gravel, and you can see these gates rising up before you. There's a moment, so you can hear everybody behind you grabbing their things, trying to gather everything up. And through the night air, you hear another. And from over the wall, you see a face pop out and look down towards you. A familiar face. You see... You see this middle-aged woman with curled brown hair, kind of this sharp face, her like sunburnt skin kind of peer down at you, who you know to be Velma, who she kind of rubs her eyes a little and looks down. Oh, great. What?
Velma!
What?
There are gnolls on their way. We need to get in.
Knowles?
Yeah.
Are you serious? What?
Deadly, actually.
And she starts looking out into the dark. You see other faces appearing. And that sound is getting closer and more frequent and kind of frenzied as you hear the and all these individuals start scurrying up, running down the graveled path and pushing past you. You kind of feel your shoulders getting checked as they slam into the gates. They're starting to slam on the gates themselves. Velma immediately turns and you just see all the faces disappear. At this point, that sound has come to a crescendo, and as you turn and look, you can see out of the darkness eyes appearing as more and more of those sounds. And you can see these low, slender forms kind of stalking out like a predator. They are bipedal in nature. They have coarse, thick fur, rippling with muscle and sinew. You can see some of them clutching bows. Others have these sick-looking blades at their sides. And further beyond, you can hear more cackles in the darkness approaching. I would like you to roll for initiative as we kick this off.
That was quick. Okay.
You know, wanted to start this one off with a bang.
I got a 6.
Oh. Go ahead. You can position your tokens kind of where you would have been as this was all taking place.
You said people were pushing past us.
Yeah, I'm gonna move everybody. All right, let me get this all set up.
Oh man, not that first thing.
Actually, this is, yeah, you can see as you it looks like Kadam and Lovelace, you push yourselves out in front of the crowd as these gnolls appear. That woman in the tent was a bit more slow going. You can see she has just this huge, like, stack of books trying to, like, clutch onto them as she starts frantically running and looking over her shoulder. Oh God! Trying to hold on to these books. The what look to be armed individuals with her are all stacked up against the kind of low-lying rubble with their spears out in a formation, getting ready to fight. So this is, even though it doesn't look like her, that is her there. And let's switch scenes.
I think Lovelace is like kind of taking up a defensive formation and being like, Kidam can handle the talking to try to get us in here.
Okay.
But I'm gonna try to cover this woman and any other stragglers from the camps.
Gotcha. All right. What was your initiative, Lovelace?
6.
6. Oh boy.
I so rarely get good initiative.
And Kadam?
16.
16.
Unusually high for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll roll for Manfred. I don't think Renwin is going to be... Wow, Manfred got really high. Okay, and then I just need to get my little gnoll friends here.
Oh, also, like, as like night is falling and we're taking up position, I think Lovelace like snaps these goggles up over her eyes, and they're like these like rusty old mining goggles. They spent better part of like 80 years in a like fey cavern, but they work, and I need them now.
Amazing. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I should have done this ahead of time, really. And I got one more here. All right. So.
I prep spells for Candlekeep, not for gnolls.
Amazing. So, we actually, so great, this is cool. Oh, I gotta roll for the guards, right? This is kind of a big encounter here as we kick this off. All right, so kicking this off, we have the gnolls get to go first. At least one of them does. Yeah. So you see one of these gnolls a bit like very like broad-shouldered, kind of towering over the other gnolls there, looking out over this fleeing crowd of humanoids. They kind of, you swear, give some kind of grin, just and this gnoll raises its bow and is going to fire at these guards that are there.
Well, no, that's not true.
2 attacks. Okay.
I can't see anything.
You can't?
No, it's all outside of my dark vision.
Okay. Fires its bow. And 1d8. All right, one of the guards takes a solid hit with, manages to deflect one of the arrows, but another arrow comes flying in and smacks him right in the chest, and he buckles over. Manages to stand up, bringing the shield up in a defensive position, but looks significantly hurt. This gnoll darts off to the side and starts waving its hand and barking as the other gnolls start appearing from the darkness and coming around from the sides. Manfred is going to, trying to push past the crowd, looks over and sees this happening. He's gonna peel away. Damn it. And is gonna step up next to you, Kadam, and pulls out that small device and points it towards that gnoll.
He can see that far in the dark?
Yeah. Wait, can you?
What a normal human.
Actually, that's a good point.
I
Oh,
can't see that far.
you're
Just
right.
what?
I can't.
He can't. Yeah. Oh, thank you guys.
I was not lying.
That you were narrating all this stuff happened with the gnolls. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
believe you.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing these shapes and the glints of their eyes, but yeah, it's very easily you lose them quickly. You're right. I forgot about dark vision, because my DM vision is all seeing. So.
Teacher, don't we have homework?
Yeah. So, okay, that's a good point. So Manfred actually does. He steps up and he's going to hold his action to fire as soon as something appears. That takes us to the other gnolls. Oh, it's this one. Okay, perfect. This one is going to dart off, pulling up, ducking behind this wall, and Lovelace, you see from out of the darkness this gnoll kind of lope over, very quickly stands up and pulls the bow out, aiming it towards that woman who has the books, trying to get away. And let's see here. Here it is. Okay, so that is, oh boy, that is a terrible roll. That does not. She manages to duck just in time as the arrow flies over her head, and it does not hit her. Sphere. Oh, but it gets two attacks. Awesome. Good for me. Oh my god. It still doesn't hit her. This one, you notice it does hit her, but there's a loud metallic ping as the arrow seems to bounce off of underneath her. Oh, actually not underneath. You now see that she's put it on just over her silk robes. She's actually wearing like a breastplate that she's put on over with all these books, and ping, gets hit and kind of stumbles. It continues running, and that gnoll just okay, that takes us to Kadam. You're up.
All right, I'm going to take a few steps forward here. Oh, I wish this would work better. I see almost nothing still.
Are you muted, Olive?
I think Lovelace points out, like, there on the, I guess, Kedam's right,
Yeah.
behind that far wall.
How tall are the walls, Nathan?
They will grant half cover to anyone behind them.
Okay.
So they are, I don't know, 4 feet high, about?
Let's try that.
Okay.
I don't really have good options at the moment, so we're gonna toll the dead.
Okay. Excellent. That is a thing that I remember what to do.
It's a
Wisdom save.
It's a whiz save.
Thank you. Oh, that's a 3.
Oh, excellent.
We're not seeing these rolls.
That's also a 3.
Oh, you're not. I'm sorry. I have the GM thing turned on. That's also a 3. Okay, so 3 necrotic psychic?
Oh, that's a good question.
Necrotic.
Necrotic. Okay. Yeah, the gnoll and looks towards you, a little bit of blood kind of out the mouth, and it getting ready to aim its bow at you. Is that it for you, Kadam?
I think so.
Kedam,
Okay.
get behind cover! What are you doing?
I have used all my movement, Lovelace.
Oh no, that's reasonable, I
I feel
guess.
incapable of moving any farther.
From out of the darkness, you watch as these 2 gnolls come sprinting. They're going to use their ability to give themselves 60 feet of movement. So that was 45. Actually, this one would have darted past you, Kadam, and run up to that woman, just darting around. But another one does come running straight at you from out of the darkness. And I have to look up the way this works. Okay, yeah, that's fine. It's really weird. That's all I can do with its action. It's like a really strange ability. But yeah, they come sprinting up to you, pulling out these 2 swords, and come right up into your face, Kadam. It is now the guards. I think all they have, yep. They start backing away with their shields up, and one sees that gnoll dart past, and they flip around to stab this gnoll that is chasing after the person they're supposed to be protecting. Here we go. So that misses, and this one will also push in You know what? They would have had the foresight to flank to get advantage. So this one will get advantage. Okay, those 3 hit. And 1d6. Okay, here we go. 2 hits on that. 4, 9 damage done to that gnoll. It, but it's fine. And now it's this thing's turn. You hear and running straight up the road. Forgive me, audience, I'm going to slightly fudge this because I didn't quite know where I was going to have these creatures when they started their turns, but running straight up the road and out of the darkness at you, Lovelace, you see this massive, like, horse-sized figure as this huge, swollen hyena just and it doesn't quite have enough movement to get to you, surprisingly. So as it's running past, it snaps out with its massive jaws right at you, Kadam. It only rolled a 7, so you're fine.
No, that don't hit.
The jaws snap and it but it does not hit. Okay.
Ooh.
Lovelace, your turn.
Oh boy, finally a worthy foe. Let's do a rage.
Okay.
I think Lovelace just like pulls out these 2 short swords, and just starts like swinging into these things. And there's like this kind of like whistling, rattling noise as they go through the air.
Yeah. Also, as Lovelace rages, there is just this faint pulse of ethereal light at her feet that kind of, and for a moment you see these strange ethereal hands kind of up out of the ground and then immediately get pulled back in. So go ahead, Lovelace. You're attacking the hyena in front of you?
Yeah, and I'm gonna attack recklessly with my short swords.
Okay. You'll have to move forward 1, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
May I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
You can flank with me, get advantage, and not need to attack recklessly.
I'm hanging out next to you, Hidam. I'm not.
All right.
I'm not letting these enemies get between us.
Okay. So.
Okay.
All right.
My lowest roll was a 19.
All of those hit.
Hell yeah.
Holy shit.
That's plus all the rages, 32 damage.
Whew, my god. So was that 3 attacks?
No, 2 normals and then 1 offhand because I'm dual wielding.
That's right. Okay. My god. So with this just flurry of blades, you carve into the side of this thing. It kind of stumbles and and you see the blood coming out is like almost black as it like plops onto the ground, and there's a slight like as it bubbles and it hits the ground. And this thing, now that you're so close to it, you can see it's kind of swollen and bloated. Like little bits of bone almost seem to be pressing to the point of wanting to rip out of the flesh, but it's not quite. Yeah.
Let me help you out with that. And I hit the flesh there.
And one of the ribs just pops out of the skin, and this black ichor just spills out onto the ground. All right. Is that your turn, Lovelace?
Yeah.
Okay. On initiative count 1, all of the non-combatants will do whatever they're going to do. So she is going to sprint away. Does she disengage? I don't think she does. I think she just runs. So this thing is going to try to hit her with the sword. And completely misses. So she manages to scramble away and get up to the gates, pushing into the crowd. All the other people are just now pushing themselves in. Oh, Manfred will use his held action to fire at that giant hyena. Oh no, he rolled a... Okay, so he points this flintlock pistol towards the hyena, and it just explodes into smoke in his face, and he and the gun misfires, so it does not hit the hyena. That was his held action. Everybody did their thing. Okay, it is now this thing's turn. Okay, that was one round. Okay, yeah, this thing is going to push. It can actually stay where it is. Okay, it's gonna fire at that one. That misses. That
Can we see where this is coming from?
You see arrows coming out of the darkness to this direction.
Right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
It's always good to know where the arrows are coming from.
Yeah. Okay, so that one guard who took a hit, one of those arrows flies out once more and it sticks into his shield. He kind of and breathes with a moment of relief until and it slams into his stomach and he just crumples over. And it uses its Incite Rampage to let the gnoll... Yeah, it's gonna do the one with one of the other guards. It's gonna... And it's going to attack with its short sword. That hits. It does 8 damage. So this one just whips around, cutting across this individual's chest, who just stumbles back, trying to lift the shield up, and that is its turn. Next up is Manfred. He looks at the pistol, puts it away, pulls his short sword out, and kind of comes loping up next to this hyena. He's going to flank. He attacks with advantage. The 13? That might actually be enough. Yeah, it is. Ooh, nice. Max damage. 9 damage to this thing. He jabs the tip of his sword into it and twists and pulls out as it... And this thing... it's looking really, really hurt. That was Manfred's turn. It's now this one's turn.
I think
So-
after the end rolls turned on again.
Oh, do I? What the heck? But I don't. Do you see this?
Yeah, I see that.
Okay, that's so weird. I'm sorry. It's a good question, Wheezies Breezies. Yeah, actually, that is a good question. You do... Well, hold on. Well, I'm about to get there. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is going to be at you, Kadam. These 2 shots.
All right.
17
That hits.
and a natural 1.
That don't.
Okay, you take 9 points of piercing damage, and as that arrow right into your thigh, you can see this kind of black goo coming out from where it hit, and your leg pulses with pain. Your speed is reduced by 10, and that gnoll... and it is going to head off into the darkness, getting behind this pile of rubble. At the end of its turn, you hear more and 2 more. Oh god, they've got a great initiative. That's appropriate. What do these guys got for movement? Nice. All right. two more, these look to be just normal hyenas come running out of the darkness. With 50 feet of movement, they will dash up to here, unable to use any more of their movement. And from the other side, two more as well come running out of the darkness up to the guards. They have enough movement to attack. This one has advantage, and with a 16, it just hits. These things don't do a terrible amount of damage. But that was just enough. So another guard, the one that got hit with that sword attack, this hyena comes leaping out of the darkness and slams onto his back, pushing him down into the dirt, and just with a brief bites onto his head with a and then and with that it's going to, it does not have the rampage. Okay, cool. That was the hyenas. That takes us to Kadam. Kadam, on your turn, you can hear behind you a sound of as the gate is starting to open, and you hear the crowd screaming and banging, and you can look over your shoulder, Lovelace and Kadam, and see that the gate is just starting to open. And you can hear shouts from the other side of the wall as well. I'm going to let these folks get initiative. Okay, so we'll go. All right, Kadam, you're up.
I would like to cast Word of Radiance. So I shout, and there is, again, that kind of chorus behind my single word, and a blast of golden light surrounds me. I need our big friend here, the two hyenas and the one gnoll, to all make a con save.
Okay. Big hyena got a 17.
That succeeds.
The two smaller ones, an 11 and a 13, so that's a failure.
Both those fail.
Okay. And the gnoll friend. 7.
Alright, so the gnoll and the hyenas take 10 points of radiant damage.
Okay. As the light flashes across this kind of low-lying field with the bits of rubble, there are harsh shadows that just cast throughout this environment up onto the walls of Candlekeep. And you said 10?
10, yeah.
The two hyenas in front of you immediately, and they just fall over and start twitching, and they are gone.
Alright.
Does the big hyena take half damage or no?
No, it's a cantrip.
Okay, got it.
With my bonus action, I would like to cast Hex
Okay.
on the one over here.
Okay.
Disadvantage on strength checks.
On strength checks, okay. Put this little symbol on. All right, and
Oh, and I don't even take a spell slot.
and
Alright.
your movement is back to normal.
All right.
Okay. Is that it for you?
Yeah.
Okay. That takes us to this gnoll, which now that it's right up on you, is going to try to bite you and then hit you twice with its swords. So here we go, Kadam. Is it flanking? It just has to move here. There we go. I mean, I guess even here it's flanking because that's a big boy, so yeah. Okay, so the bite, an 18 to hit?
Yep.
Okay, so 6 points of piercing damage as it bites onto your shoulder. And then here come the two sword attacks. A 20 to hit
Yep.
and a 22 to hit. So those both hit. You take 7 points of piercing and another 4 points of piercing.
All right, let me make 3 Constitution saving throws here.
Okay.
Nope. I fail on the second.
Okay.
So Bane's gone.
Okay.
Or Hex, excuse me.
Yeah. All right. So that one's no longer hexed. Oh, I'm sorry. That is its turn. It's now going to pivot. This one over here is going to pivot around to this other guard, flanking it with its hyena friends. And is going to attack this guard with advantage. That hits. That misses. And that hits. So one of these and one of these. And that, I think, is enough to knock it all the way down to... yeah, definitely. So the final guard, as this hyena bites into their shoulder and then takes both swords and just slams it into their back and lifts them up and throws them into the dirt as they tumble to the side. And it, reducing that one to 0 hit points, gets its rampage. So it can move up to half its speed and make a bite attack. So its speed is 30. It can move...
Hey, Manfred.
15 feet to Manfred and attack with a bite. And misses. Just a big snap in front of Manfred, who kind of... okay. All the guards are dead. The giant hyena is going to continue to try to bite. It's going to bite at you, Lovelace.
I was going to say, it has spectral hands kind of
yeah.
clawing at it from the ground.
Right.
But it doesn't matter if it's going to attack me anyway.
Well, it's... I mean, you beat the
I've got
shit
its
out of it.
attention.
Yeah, you got its attention. No, with a 10, I don't think so. So it's just... But it is unable to hit you. That takes us to the people on the wall, which I
Wait,
realize...
what about me?
Well, there are
Oh.
individuals that you are unaware of that
Got it.
rolled slightly higher than you.
Not
So,
too difficult.
yeah.
I just realized I'm in single digits.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
What can they even do? I don't remember what these guys should have looked at their thing. Oh, okay. This is good. They can do that. That's awesome. Oh man, that's super awesome. Okay.
Don't you got ballistas or something up there?
Wow. Okay. They unleash. You watch from behind as suddenly these bolts of light just streak over your heads and slam into. One of them hits the big hyena. I'm not even gonna roll because that's more than enough, as it's hit with guiding bolt, and it just, the light enters in one of those wounds that you made, Lovelace, and there's just kind of almost like a depth charge. You just see it go, and the stomach and everything just kind of distends outwards, and little bits of goo just squirt out the holes that you made, and it falls over dead. One of them goes sailing past, not hitting any of the gnolls, but that other one there, God, guiding bolt is pretty powerful, isn't it? 46. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Just because there's so many of them, I'm going to do average damage. So 14 damage for all of these. That kills the gnoll in front of Manfred. It gets hit in the chest and goes skidding across the ground. And the other one as well is destroyed as it slides across the ground. Killed. Okay, it is now your turn, Lovelace.
Well, now there's nothing else to hit. Come on. I think Lovelace is just like in her like we're fighting things mode. It's just gonna say like, get to the walls. And I'm gonna, I guess, like, I don't want those hyenas to follow us. So I'm just gonna run up to the hyenas and give them a good what for.
Okay.
I think sheathing the 2 short swords and like pulling out a charging pike. I'm just gonna lance them.
Okay. Go for it.
So move 20 feet that way. Actually, I think I'm gonna wheel on them. So like I kind of like do this like little circle to get 3 feet away, and then to get my little charge off.
That's awesome. Yeah, you kind of like back away and do that like circle sort of thing that
like,
horses do.
There's a lot of like carnage here, so I think I just actually like leap up over just this like huge like rib cage of a giant hyena.
Yes. Yeah.
And just like come down on these 2 fools.
Okay, go for it.
So we got 2 pike attacks and a hoof attack. And I might as well attack recklessly. Pike 26 to hit the first one.
Yep, that definitely hits.
15 damage total.
It is destroyed as it just tumbles into the dirt as you come charging in.
12 to hit with the second one.
That definitely hits.
And that's 10 damage to that one.
Yep, that one as well is killed as you come slamming into it. And as you get your bearings, let's see here. Yes, you can just see outside of the light of the fire and your dark vision, there is that bigger knoll crouched behind a wall as it peers up and looks at you, the light of the fire catching its eyes, and it... So, is that it for you, Lovelace?
I'm going to use my last 10 feet of movement to like move up kind of like in front of this wall of corpses and just take a defensive position.
Okay. I realize I kind of messed up the turn of the hyenas, but that's okay. They're all dead now. And on initiative count 1, all these civilians at the back, you start to see them funneling through as the gate is opening, and they all go piling in. So they just... Plus Renwood. Oh, I took the torches with me. They all run inside, disappearing out of your sight as they are screaming and pushing through. And you can see now up on top there are those 4 individuals, kind of just dark shadows, really, of people up there, hands outstretched, still residual light kind of crackling between their fingers. And at that moment, yeah, you start to hear more laughing and chittering coming from the darkness from beyond, just and lots of like of multiple feet pounding on the dirt and gravel as the pack lord leans up over the wall and is going to shoot towards you, Lovelace.
With advantage.
With advantage. Oh, and also let's see, does it get its thing back? Nope, it doesn't. Okay, so here we go, 2 shots. A natural 20.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be...
Ouch.
I only rolled a 1. So 2 plus 2, I think? 2 plus 2. So 4 damage reduced to 2. So it just nicks your arm and barely does any damage, and the other arrow just sticks into the corpse of the giant hyena behind you. That is its turn as it...
I think I see it coming. It's like I see this like arrow coming from my heart, and I actually am able to just kind of like bat it away with the lance.
Oh, nice. Yeah, and it just shatters through the air. That knoll is going to stay where it is, and at the top of initiative count 20, we have more friends who arrive.
I feel like we use the word friends quite liberally.
Yeah.
Don't hurt to have more friends.
Remind me what your HP is. Does it hurt?
Oh, it's what? What was it? 6? 6.
Hmm.
I'm fine.
It's more than some first level characters. Is that true? I don't know if that's true.
No, not unless they have a negative con score.
Okay, it is that. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah. You see more of these gnolls come running out of the darkness. And when it is their turn, they will go. Okay, Manfred calls out to the two of you. We should just get inside.
Yep, right behind you.
All right. And he starts running and is going to dash 30 feet to get behind the walls. Okay. This one that you've been trying to hit, Kadam, pokes out from behind the rubble with that bow and is going to shoot at you twice. 16?
That just hits.
Okay. So 7 points of
I'm
piercing
down.
damage. You are down. So Kadam, you drop onto the dirt as
Right
that.
behind you.
Yeah. As you lean over to call out and then and fall down into the dirt. Okay. Kadam, it's your turn. I would like you to make a death saving throw for me.
Is it gonna do its second shot?
That was both a shot. So it rolled an 11 and a 16.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a success.
Okay, one success. It's now the other gnolls go. They come running up. These ones you can see have longbows. One thing you do spot, Lovelace, is the one to the right there comes running out of the darkness. You see this other, like, more frail looking gnoll come running up from behind, and it gets down in the dirt and reaches out and starts pulling the corpses away. And you can see it has kind of what you saw before. It has these like packs and satchels on it as it's reaching out and grabbing on to one of the dead corpses of the guards and starts to pull it away, but it does not. It had to use its action just to get there, so it is starting to do that. But these ones all have their bows out and they're going to shoot at you, Lovelace. So that is
All with advantage.
all with advantage. Okay, so that is 3 attacks. 19 to hit.
Yep.
15?
Just.
Okay, and a 22. So that is 2 hits.
Mm-hmm. Wait, no, all 3 hits? 3 hits.
Oh, 15 is just. Okay, yeah. So, okay, so 8 points of piercing damage.
So 4 pierce.
3 points of piercing damage. So 1.
1 point.
And 4 points of piercing damage, which is 2. So these arrows come flying out, slamming into you, Lovelace, but you resist them all. That is your turn. That thing is dead. Okay. It's now the people up on the wall. I think they can do Guiding Bolt again. Let's see, how many times can they do it? Oh, it's only a 2nd level spell. Awesome. So they can definitely do it again. Okay. Let's do spell attacks, shall we? Miss. Miss. I think that's a hit. And a hit. So 2 hit. I will just start from over there. 46. Oh, yeah, right. I was just going to do average to speed it up. So 14 to that one and 14 to that one. So the 2 to the western side of the map get hit with these guiding bolts, while the other 2, unfortunately, just slam into the dirt with little explosions of white light. And that takes us to Lovelace. You're up.
Kadam, you going?
and you see Kadam lying there in the ground, arrow coming out of them.
I think I like it's a beat or two where I'm like, I don't hear. Okay, wheeling around, gonna just try to scoop up Kidam and make our way towards the gates.
Okay, so you scoop Kadam up over your shoulder and start running towards the gates. I believe what we did last time, because you technically have rode on Lovelace before, didn't we have you make a check to see if you could move full speed, or am I misremembering that?
If I remember correctly, we have had it be a choice between using her action to get me on her back and then moving at full speed, or dragging at half speed without having to use the action.
That's okay. That's what. So you just gonna use your action to pick Kadam up and run with them? Okay, so go for it.
Yeah. So that's 10 feet and then 40 more feet.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Here.
All right. So
you bring Kidam up with
Yeah, I got you. So the two of you go sprinting up towards the gates. You can see those individuals above, and honestly, at this point, I'm just going to kind of narrate the rest of what happens because you're right there at the gates. You watch as those gnolls, they fire off a couple more pot shots, and you can see those other gnolls skittering out from the darkness and grabbing the dead bodies of the guards and pulling them into the darkness, while bolts of guiding light go over your heads as you run inside. Just as you're getting inside and you get to the other side of the walls, you see, with just like it's a very strange sight, you see these 4 individuals flying towards you, probably 30 feet above the ground, just hovering there, hands outstretched, energy crackling between their fingers, and as they fly over your heads, they're like robes billowing. For a split second, Lovelace, you see the face of Kalen Brightwood as he flies over your head, and as the gates start to close behind you, you just see these bright flashes of light erupting from behind the walls, and you can hear the gnolls from beyond as they all start fleeing. And as the gates come to a slamming shut, you just see flickering fire from the other side of the walls. And this big crowd of civilians all panting and panicking there, all the while the low rumble of explosions on the other side of the walls. Kadam, make another death save for me as the two of you get just inside the gates.
Yeah, I did that. I failed.
You failed, so that's 1 failure. Okay, Lovelace, what do you want to do?
Stabilize. Got my healer's kit.
Okay.
I have 2 X grubs marked.
Yes, perfect.
Which are probably
yeah.
I have like dried and powdered to them at this point, so it's like
Okay.
grub powder.
So you don't have to squeeze them?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like pouring out a canteen and like kind of making a paste and like rubbing it
Okay.
onto, it was an arrow wound that took you down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, as you are doing that, it is it's interesting. It's almost you see where the wound is, where it's like the big gash and the piercing mark is, and as you were putting that paste in, this like almost like white foam starts coming out of it and running down Kadam's leg, and you can see, even though Kadam's unconscious, the muscle is just like spasming uncontrollably as that's happening. But it seems like it's doing something as you are applying it, and the bleeding stops. So with that, as the explosions slowly come to a close outside, Lovelace, what do you do as you're on the inside of the gates here?
My priority is keeping Kidam safe. I guess if nobody's stopping us or anything, the safest place seems like the inn that we were at before.
Okay.
I need to get a bed. I need to get a healer's.
Okay. Yeah, as you are looking around, you see there are other avowed who are running out from various like alcoves. You see some coming out from that I believe it was a church that you went into when you first came here. Actually, let me pull up my map so I can actually have a better reference of what's going on here. You're back in Candlekeep. Who would have thought? So, to reorient all of us, Lovelace, as you have just stabilized Kadam, you look up, hearing those low rumbles from outside. And you see this worried crowd before you, all muttering with hushed breaths. And off to your right, you can see those multiple stout, really like kind of fat towers that mark the pillars of pedagogy, where you had to do a bunch of research. And from some of those doors, you see multiple robed figures quickly rushing across the court of air towards you. The court of air being this huge courtyard that stretches out before you, leading all the way to the far end. You see those looming, slightly glowing emerald doors that lead even further beyond, where all of those towers and pillars rise up like a birthday cake. Far off to your left, you can see that church, and you see more robed individuals rushing out from there. And farther still to the left, you see the hearth, the place where you stayed before, and there is warm light coming from the windows in there. As the avowed start gathering around you, you can see they are ushering folks towards the hearth. And eventually, as they're making their way through the crowd, Lovelace, you just feel a very gentle hand tap your shoulder. And standing there next to you, you see Velma, who has come down from the wall, looking a bit worried down at Kadam. Admittedly, I should have acted a bit quicker. Just give me a moment. And she leans down and places a hand on Kadam. She will cast...
I think at that, like, Lovelace tenses. The, like, understands what's going on. It's gonna let it happen, watching carefully.
Okay. Help me out here. What is Cure Wounds? It's a D8.
1d8 plus spellcasting mod.
Got it. Which the spellcasting mod for this person... Okay, so you get 9 hit points back, Kadam, as the magic takes effect, and you are brought to consciousness.
Oh god. Oh.
It's okay. It's okay. Everything's better now. She slowly stands up.
Better? Did you not see what's out there? In your backyard. People are dying. What are you doing in here? What is the purpose of all this knowledge if, like, on your doorstep, these monsters just kill your guests?
We didn't know. This is entirely new to us. We had no idea that this was happening.
It's been happening for months.
Well, we didn't know. The word hasn't come to us.
Then your magic is useless. We're heading to the hearth.
I think that would be best. She gestures towards the hearth.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And she briskly turns and heads over to, you can see now there's like a door at the entryway to the gate that she scurries inside of, and you can hear her footsteps going up some stone steps. Momfred and Renwyn are standing there expectantly looking at the two of you. Are you okay, Kadam?
I will be. I look down at the arrows still in my body.
Yeah, you don't want to pull those out until you got good medical attention.
I mean, I've got good medical attention at this point. I think I'm just gonna sit myself down right here because I do not want to walk with these things in my flesh and pull them out and cast Cure Wounds on myself again.
Go for it. So as Kadam is sitting there carefully pulling these arrows out, the wounds sealing behind as you cast Cure Wounds.
All right, well, I'm doing better now. I will totter after Lovelace.
As you are walking over, Manfred says, I'm terribly sorry. I literally turned when you told me to go, and next thing I know, Lovelace is bringing you in here completely gone.
It's all right. I don't do well with gnolls.
Yes, I remember you telling us about your previous experience.
Yeah.
Well, perhaps we'll find some welcome warmth in there as you start walking towards the hearth.
Have you been here, Manfred?
No.
I think you would like this place.
Oh, I'm actually very excited, but it doesn't feel appropriate right now to be so excited for such things.
You can still be excited. I mean, there ain't nothing wrong with that.
It doesn't feel right with people dying around us like that.
Speaking of, can I see the woman with all the books who all her guards died in the crowd?
Yeah.
Yeah, so right now there's a big crowd like at the entryway to the hearth, and they're all kind of like slowly filing in. Go ahead and make a perception check to see if you can spot her.
13.
13. Yeah, you can see that she is like at the back of the crowd, being one of the last people in, and just trying to hold those books, looking over her shoulder periodically, but still kind of anxiously trying to get inside as the Avowed are ushering everybody in.
Hold up, I'm gonna go check in, see what that camp was about.
I'll come with you.
Okay.
Okay. So the two of you trot up next to this woman who's pushing her way in. Yeah, you can see she's very slender. She has almost like porcelain skin as you approach, with like dark hair, and she just has this big pile of like old books in her hand, in her arms rather. But her robes look to be just very fine silk, and then this very nice like breastplate over the top that has some like designs in it. Yeah. What do you do as you approach?
Hope those books were worth it.
Oh. Well, they are very valuable. So, some would even say irreplaceable. What do you mean by that?
You're right. That can't have been easy.
No, I'm not. I was awoken from my sleep to the sound of monsters, and had to flee into the night. One of them nearly got me. I'm not all right.
What was that camp? Were they not letting you in? Why weren't y'all already inside the walls?
We arrived late this evening, and we had just set up our camp. They do not open the doors after evening. They only let folks in the morning and through daylight hours. So we were camped out, just waiting our turn. I'm sorry. She turns and faces you. I should be thanking you. I'm sorry. You warned us all.
You'd have done nothing less, I imagine.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I'm Lovelace, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Ah.
I'm Kadam.
I am Nara Stonedale.
Nice to meet you, Nara.
Pleasure. Kadam and Lovelace, was it?
Yeah.
My name's Manfred. Yeah, hey, I'm Renwyn. I came here so far. Just at least I got in.
Did you know your guards well?
Not terribly well. They were paid to do what they were supposed to, which I imagine they're still out there with the rest of the Avowed.
Oh.
Oh,
They all fell.
I see. Well, as I said, I paid them to do a job, and they certainly were loyal. Fascinating what coin will do. Anyways, I don't mean to be rude, but I would like to get inside, and
Of course. Yeah.
That's probably for the best.
these books are getting a bit heavy.
Well, just go.
Thank you. And she turns and starts heading in. So,
Get a room, I guess. Maybe a couple. Settle down for the night.
okay. You step inside the hearth. As you enter in, you can see now the crowd is dispersed, and they're all crowded around the bar, where you see... Oh boy. Oh no, I didn't write her name down. It was Samantha. Samantha! That was it. You can see Samantha is like frantically trying to get everything in order, talking to all the different people. There's a moment where she does look over and spots the two of you, and there's just a brief moment of acknowledgement, and she just goes, and immediately is like addressing all the other individuals. You can see there are the tavern, the hearth is actually packed right now. Like it seems like there's not only these individuals who have come in, but it appears to be a very busy time at Candlekeep. The entire hearth is filled with countless faces and individuals, and you can see where Little One, this massive ogre.
I was gonna ask. I'm so excited.
This massive ogre that is just pressed into a booth. There's a little black cat, I believe? There's a little black cat just nestled in the crook of his neck, kind of softly sleeping, and he is currently excitedly talking to like 3 other individuals with a book and pointing at it and regaling them with stories. He has this very beautiful like circlet around his head, and yeah, it is loud, it is noisy, and there's a lot going on here. I don't remember what Samantha sounded like, so I'm just gonna say it's gonna be a new voice, and that's that.
Do I.
Yeah. But what do the two of you do as you enter in? You want to just try to get rooms?
Well, maybe wait for the crowd to disperse a little bit and
Okay.
say hi to Little One and Gutwee.
Okay. You want to say hi to them first?
What's the vibe here? Like, there's just a violent attack outside, and like,
you're right.
They haven't gotten word yet.
You're right. You notice that Little One is regaling these folks with stories. The 3 people that he is talking to at the moment are not paying attention. They are looking a bit worried off towards this crowd gathering. Everybody else inside is all as well looking kind of hushed and worried at this big crowd that has come through. There's a moment where Samantha just like waves her hands and goes, okay. And she gets up on the bar and looks out across the crowd. All right, everyone, there's been An awful attack. Apparently there's a horde of gnolls outside. They're besieging the place, so everyone stay calm. Stay calm as people start like freaking out. It's all right. We have very, very powerful mages here. I'm not worried. We've gone through so much here before. The place is just teeming.
Samantha,
Yes. Kadam, yes.
it ain't a siege. There weren't that many. Just enough to cause a ruckus.
She looks down at that heavy-set elf who had the hurdy-gurdy, who is holding it, who looks a bit sheepish.
I swear it was countless hordes.
But anyways, as I was saying, everyone just stay calm. We'll get you all sorted with rooms, and she starts going through getting everyone settled until eventually she gets to the two of you, Renwyn and Manfred. All right, I got them all settled. Hi. I never thought I would see you here again, but here we are.
I never thought I would see myself here again either, but yeah, here we are.
Unfortunately, we are really quite at capacity right now, as you can see. The only rooms we have left are down in the Firefly cellar. I hope that will do well for you.
It's just fine.
Good, because that's all we got. Unless you want to bunk up with some random strangers, but we're quite at capacity right now. Excellent. I will just give me a moment here, and little one.
Oh, yeah.
And the big ogre comes lumbering over. Please show our Kadam love.
Oh, Kadam Lovelace!
And he comes up and just like scoops the two of you up and starts squeezing, and gives
I
you
try
a big
and back
pat.
out.
I don't have this experience very often.
Kadam, make a dex saving throw. She's trying to pull you into a hug.
Yeah, 15.
Okay, yeah, you slip right out of there, and then eventually, Lovelace, you just feel more pressure as he's now just hugging you, and then pulls away.
Oh, I've been taking really wonderful care of Gutweed here.
And you see the little cat curl up as it's waking up from its nap, looking down at you, Lovelace. Yes, all right, enough of the pleasantries. Will you please show them to the Firefly cellar? It's the only rooms that we have left.
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, it's actually pretty cool down there. Come on with me.
And he starts lumbering off, leading you to the kind of back part of the hearth, away from the crowd. You can now hear people's voices starting to rise and burble as that kind of sound, like indistinguishable conversation happening in murmurs. Walla walla walla. As he leads you to the back, he kind of goes over, starting to catch you up on the things that he's been through and the things he's seen in the convening months, or the months that you've been gone. But he takes you to the back of the hearth, down a hallway, and off this little side chute hall. And you can see there is a trap door in the floor, and off to the right there is like a kind of squat, wide wooden door with like iron bands on it. And as he's approaching, he goes,
Well, Firefly Cellar, it's really interesting. It's actually a smaller library built underneath the hearth. But we do have some rooms within there, and it gets its name because it's all lit by little fireflies. It's actually really amazing.
Little one, we've been pursued by gnolls all day. We just saw a whole bunch of folks die.
Oh,
It's a little bit more than a ruckus.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's good to see you. It really is. But
okay, I had no idea. I'm really sorry. I sometimes I've been told I don't.
No, it's fine. It's fine, little one. It's really good to see you. I'd love to catch up.
Okay. Yes, of course. I'm terrible. Okay. Lovelace, I know you don't do well with ladders. There is this service elevator here to get the books up and out. He opens this kind of wide squat door, and you can see this dusty
box with like thick ropes, and you can see there is a winch like on the outside of this room off to the side.
I will have to lower you down, but if you want to, the two of you want to head on in. All of you are welcome. It can hold a lot of weight.
I'll step in.
Okay. So.
Sorry, it just sounded like you said wench.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Winch.
Yeah,
So
there's
like
a winch off the side. Ah, hello there. I meant to say winch. I
think you did.
I don't know. You know, honestly, I probably did say wench. It's been a problem since I was younger. I've always, like, for whatever reason. Anyways, as you all squeeze into this small, dusty elevator, he looks at you one more time.
I really am sorry, and I hope you get good rest.
No, I wanna hear about your fireflies later.
Tomorrow, little one.
Okay. Yeah. Once we get some food in us, it'll be good.
Yeah.
Good night.
He closes the door, and you feel it kind of lurch, and then it starts to
Was
go
that
down.
too abrupt? Was that?
No, not necessarily.
All right.
You could have been a little gentler, but you weren't rude about it or anything.
All right.
It's been a long day. It's been a long night.
I don't like it here. It makes me short.
I know. I'm sorry. We can leave tomorrow.
That'd be great. I mean, Noel's willing.
Right.
I can't believe you saw how quickly they ended the fight.
Yeah.
And they just
Well, I didn't
let
actually,
this
but
happen?
I trust that they did.
Right, you didn't. You're out cold. Just 4 of them flew overhead. There were some sorts of explosions out there.
I saw a few of them.
If they put their mind to it, those folks didn't have to die. Their deaths are on the protectors and inhabitants of this land when they have that much power. I mean, Velma said that they didn't know. What is Candlekeep? But a place where people know stuff. They don't know what's happening in their own backyard.
My impression is that they really do stay within Candlekeep.
Yeah.
the elevator comes to a stop. You see, actually, yeah, as it comes to a stop, there is light that starts to pour in as you're finishing up your conversation. And when it comes to a stop, there's this, you know, kind of metal sliding kind of spring-like door that separates you from the interior of this space. In front of you, you can see this circular room. It contains curved dark wood bookcases which are packed with books of assorted shapes, sizes, and ages. There is a kind of pleasant smell, though, that comes through, despite the dust and kind of mustiness. As you can see, there are fresh flowers that are planted all throughout in these little pots that line the tops of the shelves. There are alcoves throughout this circular space, spaced at regular intervals, and 4 of them contained bronze statues of bespectacled scholars, and 3 hold these overstuffed chairs, like very comfy looking kind of red overstuffed chairs. In the center of the room, there is a brass railing which surrounds an overlook that gives a view of the lower whatever's down below. This angle you can't quite see. And as you step out, you start to see more of the room. Hanging from the ceiling above that opening in the floor is this enormous stone sculpture of an open book that looks as though the cover is flapping to keep it aloft. There is a spiral staircase to the east, which leads down, presumably to the next level. And then there is that trapdoor you can see with a ladder going up that is kind of next to this elevator. And occasionally you see a little pinprick of light just glow and then dissipate as errant fireflies kind of drift through this space. And nestled up in the ceiling, giving luminance to this whole place, there are little jars hanging, and within them you can see, like, much more frequently, just constant lights shining within the jars. There is currently one individual in this space who turns to look at you as you land. You see... Yes. You can see an elf. And I'm finding the description here. Or maybe there is no description, and I will come up with one. Good times. Yeah, I mean, she has the purple robes like all the other Avowed in here. She looks to be, Kadam, you can probably tell, like, she looks to be an older elf. So probably pushing, what would that be, like 600?
600 or 700?
Yeah, like an older elf. Her hair is like just a beautiful silver all throughout. She looks down at you as she is currently up on a small ladder on one of these bookshelves and has been like cataloging or putting away books, and looks over her shoulder down at you and goes, "Oh, hello there. I wasn't expecting any visitors, and you all are."
Oh, well, I don't think we were expecting to be here. My name is Kidam. We just got in.
I am Scribe Vanier, and the rest of you?
My name is Lovelace.
Oh, lovely. Renwyn and Manfred introduce themselves. Yes, I'm sorry for the state of things. As you look around, you can see there are kind of stacks of books around, and it looks a bit messy. We're going through a bit of a restoration project right now that I am leading. Things are a bit messy, but I'm assuming that things upstairs with Samantha are all booked, is probably why she sent you down here?
That's right.
I see.
We were told that there were a couple of rooms down here.
Oh, yes, indeed. They are down at the bottom, but we can most certainly accommodate you. Please, if you, would you mind actually bringing... And she climbs down off the ladder and walks over to one of these stacks of books resting on, like, one of those curved sort of tables that are throughout, or they're, you know, and she picks up this stack. Would you mind bringing these down, dear? If you wouldn't mind just giving them to Ebder. He should be down at the next level.
Ebder, all right.
I'll be down shortly, and I can make sure you're all settled in, but I just want to finish a bit of my work here, if you don't mind.
No.
Thank you. And welcome to the Firefly Cellar.
Thanks.
And I think that is where we will end tonight's session, as you are standing there with this stack of books inside this circular library with the opening leading down into further levels below.
Ebder, excuse me.
Ebder. So, with that, let us conclude tonight's session. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. And, yeah, we'll be continuing this story next week. Hope to see you all there, and have a wonderful evening.
And New Year's.
And New
Happy
Year's.
New Year's.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness. Yeah. Oh, who's zoologist? I don't know if I've seen that one. Hi.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
Oh, I think you've been around. It's been a
Have
while.
they?
It's good to see you.
Maybe
in
maybe it
again.
has been a while. Yeah, good to see you. Sorry, I just yeah. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see what happens next time as Kadam and Lovelace, I guess, sleep in the Firefly cellar.
It's probably fine.
Are we going to manage to sleep?
Yeah.
Fetch quests don't ever have complications.
No,
No.
never.
Yeah, you get 10 XP for delivering the books. Oh,
But it's
man.
repeatable, so you can just like farm it all day.
Yeah, you go back, there's a bug, or you go back and she's like, oh, would you mind bringing these books down? I'll be with you in a moment. All right, well, thank you. Yeah, thanks everybody, and see you next week.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Good night.